A bad sprint car rule showed itself Sunday at Williams Grove. Scott Bloomquist is back on a tour. The Outlaws have a new race director and more today. Let's go. It's Monday, March 18th. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is Dirt Tracker Daily. We'll start first today with the drama that happened at the start of the feature yesterday at Williams Grove. I know the track conditions were not good, and you're more than welcome to criticize them, but that called back start is where I'm going to focus here. I had to watch the replay 5 or 6 times to even see where that start could have gone wrong. And if you really watch, it looks like maybe Cameron Smith was on the hammer just a bit before the chalk line. But especially for the season opener, that feels like a really ticky-tack call at best. Even so, if the tower or the flagman wants to make that judgment call, whatever, I don't have a problem with it. Throw the caution, put Smith back a row, and move on. You probably wouldn't have ever heard anything about it. But this idea of penalizing the entire front row is something I didn't even know existed anywhere. You haven't heard me be super critical often of officials in dirt racing, but that is just a rule that needs to go away. I understand the reasoning it's in place to avoid the guys on the front row from playing games on these starts. Obviously, one guy checking up then makes another guy looks like he jumped even though he didn't, which, could turn into calls, happening, but you don't see that super often. And Danny Dietrich absolutely did not deserve to be put back a row for that start. And in the aftermath, Anthony Macri and Ryan Taylor got moved up to the front row, and Macri went on to dominate the main event, earning his second sprint car win of the season. I don't want to take anything away from Macri. He was very good yesterday. Just this morning, we've seen Dietrich sound off on Twitter on the situation, obviously in true Danny Dietrich fashion. He was responding to a video posted by Jeremy Elliott, who also talked about the situation, and Aaron Ott was critical as well. This is something it sounds like needs to be reevaluated going forward. I don't understand this rule at all. It probably needs to go away, and I've seen people say that this is probably the only place in the country this exists, but Danny Dietrich got burned yesterday. He did find his way to victory lane on Saturday night, though, at Lincoln. He topped Paulie Colagiovanni and Matt Campbell in that one. Before we move on, episode 7 of the Sprint Car Build series with Zach Hampton premiered on Sunday on the YouTube channel. In this newest video in the series, Zach shows us the installation of the fuel system, including the tank and all of the lines, plus the car getting to ride heights and on setup blocks, and he also shows us torsion stops. Just a few episodes are left at this point, and the car is really starting to come together. You can check out the entire series for free and catch up anytime at youtube.com/DIRTRACKR. Since we didn't talk about any actual racing action yesterday on the show, I wanted today to double back to at least a few things from the weekend. With the Hunt the Front Super Dirt Series opener at Talladega, Brandon Overton handled the field for the $15,000 win. Corey Hedgecock, Chris Ferguson joined him on the night's podium. The Hunt the Front field of full-timers did grow as we expected to now well past 20 cars. Joining the 19 we talked about last week included Hedgecock, Will Harrington, and yes, Scott Bloomquist. Bloomer was at Talladega and did sign up for the series loyalty program. This was the first time we'd seen Bloomer in a car in 2024, with his last appearances coming at World Finals back in November. That was with the World of Outlaws. As he works his way back into things, the smaller commitment of the Hunt the Front series seems like a good fit here for him. He started the main event in 11th, but finished 26th after having some issues and pulling off. I've been told that the Hunt the Front series full-timers list could grow yet again, as the series doesn't race again until April 12th, and there really isn't a deadline to sign on like we see kind of with Lucas. Guys will remain eligible for the points as long as they keep showing up, so they could continue signing on. And as we talked about before, this series will be super competitive all season, and some of these added names are just going to make it even more so. Elsewhere, Ricky Thornton Jr. won $10,000 and the season opener for James Essex's Northern All-Stars Late Model Series at Brownstown. He topped Mike Marlar and Josh Rice in that one. I didn't see it, but apparently RTJ shared a Snapchat story about a second car the SSI Motorsports team is going to run coming up. I've seen some wonder if maybe that would be for Hudson O'Neal, but I can't confirm or deny that. And I didn't actually see the post from RTJ. If you know more, let me know on that one, or if you maybe screenshotted the post, share it, and we'll share it on the show. Another story we've been waiting on confirmation for as well, so we could talk about, is the new race director for the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. If you watch this show on the regular, you know this is something we've talked about a couple of times, and I've told you that a new guy was coming in this position. The Outlaws have been looking for a permanent replacement since the departure of Mike Hess late last season. You might remember that whole thing with where he showed up at a high limit race, eventually effectively got fired, as he says, and Hess now obviously in charge at high limit. Past Outlaw race director Don Graby finished out the 2023 season, has been in attendance through the first several weeks this year as well with the Outlaws. But going forward, the new voice on the driver radio and the guy making those calls is Doug Leonard. Leonard moves over to the sprint cars after previously working as the race director with the Super Dirt Car Series, which is obviously also under the World Racing Group banner. Leonard has race directed as well at tracks like Ohsweken, Merrittville, and Humberston. He's an experienced hand. He shouldn't have a problem sliding right into that role, and I've been told from some that have heard him on the radio, the driver radio before, that he does a nice job. Speaking of the Outlaws, they did get both shows in over the weekend at Cotton Bowl Speedway, even though the weather looked really iffy for both days. It definitely hurt the car count, but we definitely saw some incredible racing. Friday night, it was Brent Marks who went 7th to the win, taking the lead late from Carson Macedo after a nice couple of lap slider battle there. Marks survived mid-race contact as well with Preston Perlmutter. I can't believe that car wasn't damaged after as hard as they hit. Both Donnie Schatz and David Gravel were involved in the same crash that also included Sam Hafertepe, and their trouble, along with a podium finish for Gio Scelzi, saw a change atop the Outlaw standings with Scelzi now your points leader. His place was then solidified with a win on Saturday, leading all 30 laps and holding off a late challenge from Marks. Headed this week to Big O Speedway and Kennedale, Scelzi now leads Gravel by 16, with Schatz, Logan Schuchart, and Carson Macedo the rest of the top 5. Macedo bounced back from a bizarre crash in Saturday qualifying where the rear end completely came apart, sending him into the turn 3 wall. He did end up finishing 8th. Macedo now 3 straight top 8 finishes after a brutal start to the season during Dirt Car Nationals. Other weekend winners included Matt Sheppard. He bagged the $50,000 at Port Royal with the Short Track Super Series. He also added another $15,000 for the Elite Series Championship. He took the lead 20 laps in and kept his tires together long enough to lead the rest of the way. He topped Billy Decker and Loudon Reimert at the end. With the Xtreme Outlaw Midgets, Thomas Meseraull won the opener indoors at DuQuoin on Friday and was in contention again on Saturday before a late crash with lap cars ended his and leader Joby Miller's shot at the victory. Kenneth McIntosh inherited the lead and drove on to the win. And out in California, it was a wild weekend at the Silver Dollar Speedway. DJ Netto won the Friday unsanctioned sprint car show. That was a cowboy up surface. All sorts of crazy stuff happened. Chase Johnson, Justin Sanders also on the night's podium. Things went even a step further on Saturday, though, with the NARC sanction and $10,000 on the line. Less than half the field was running at the finish. The leader had a huge crash on the final lap. That was Ryan Robinson. He went for a big tumble. And then Cole Macedo came out on top. He won that $10,000, surviving the 40-lap main event. The NARC season continues this week at Merced. All right, that's it for the show today. Make sure to keep up with everything dirt racing over at DIRTRACKR.com and follow DIRTRACKR across social media, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, we're there. I hope you guys have a great Monday out there. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.